You know, sometimes I find myself thinking about something that might sound strange to say out loud. What if we were not the image of God? What would we be then? Would we still have value? Or would we be just another species among so many others with nothing special at all? If we were not the image of God, where would our dignity come from? Would it be only from our intelligence? From the body we have? Or from what we are able to build throughout history? I keep asking myself, our ability to love, to forgive, to dream, would that be just the result of chance? Or would there still be something greater behind it all? And morality, if we did not reflect anything divine, where would right and wrong come from? Would it be just a creation of society, an illusion to keep order? Or would there still be a sense of justice within us? And what about faith? Would we still believe in God? Or would everything become distant, cold, without purpose? Would we still search for meaning? Or would we simply live to survive? I don't have all the answers, but I know one thing. The fact that we even ask ourselves these questions already shows that there is something inside us that cannot be explained only by biology, something that cannot be explained only by reason. Maybe being the image of God does not mean perfection, but rather this infinite desire to seek, to question, to connect. I think that every human being has this struggle within themselves. Every person who ever existed, who is alive now or will be in the future, sooner or later asks themselves questions like these. And it is precisely this questioning that reveals our condition of being creatures, who are not satisfied with merely existing. We want to understand why we exist, what the meaning of life is, what happens after we die. We want to know if there is a God and if He loves us, if we are valuable, if we are more than just a random occurrence in the universe. It seems that we are not simply the result of a biological process or a random event. There is something in us that transcends the physical, something that makes us yearn for something more. Now, of course, some people try to stifle this questioning. They don't want to hear these questions. They prefer to live without seeking answers, to avoid facing the mysteries of existence. Perhaps they feel a deep and inexplicable emptiness inside them, and they are afraid that if they stop trying to fill it with material things, pleasures or distractions, that emptiness will only become more evident. They are afraid to face the silence of the soul, which can be deafening, because it is in that silence that we realize how small and insignificant we are. It is a terrifying experience to realize how little we know and how much we are capable of, because when we look inside ourselves, we see both the best and worst of humanity, the potential for greatness and the capacity for evil. And we are afraid of that because it reminds us of our fragility, our imperfection. However, I believe that these questions must be asked precisely because the alternative is not to believe in God but to believe in something else, to put our faith in something other than truth, such as ideologies, power, money, pleasure, or even despair. If we reject the light, we will not embrace the darkness, because in the end, the darkness is only an absence of light. And it is precisely in this questioning, in this struggle between light and darkness, that our story takes place. The story of humanity is marked by this questioning. It is a story that began with the first human being who looked up at the stars and wondered, "Who am I?" It is a story that continues today with each of us who seeks answers, who longs for meaning in this world. I may not have all the answers, but I know one thing. The fact that we even ask ourselves these questions already shows that there is something inside us that cannot be explained only by biology, something that cannot be explained only by reason. Maybe being the image of God does not mean perfection, but rather this infinite desire to seek, to question, to connect, and deep down, even if I cannot fully understand it, I believe that this very desire is already His mark within us. Thank you for watching this video.